Hello, welcome to Algorithm. Today we'll be solving LeetCode 227 Basic Calculator 2. In this question, we're given a string s, which is a mathematical expression, as you can see in the given example here. And our job is to evaluate the mathematical expression and return its value. It is important to know that we can't use built-in functions that evaluate the mathematical expression for us, so we have to do it ourselves. And it's also important to know that there's no brackets in this question. However, there are white spaces. Therefore, we have to consider the case of white spaces and how to deal with them. So these types of questions, when I read the question, I immediately knew that there's a good chance that we have to use stacks. Along with questions regarding parentheses or mathematical equations, generally it's a very good idea to use stacks in order to solve them. So in the given example, in order to solve this question in a stack, I realized that every operation needs to be turned into addition, right? Notice how following expressions are the equivalent, right? Now, if we can get our stack to iterate through the string and have a final result of this, we can get the solution, right? So every value that's been added to the stack will be the values that will be added in order to get the resulting value. So how will we do this, right? You'll have a previous sign. So we'll default it into a plus, right? And when we reach 3, we'll have a current number of 3, right? And we'll have a empty stack because that's the starting of the iteration. When we reach a sign, we realize this is our next number, right? And our previous sign was plus because that's the default value. So we'll add 3 to the stack because that's what we do to add. Now we go to the next iteration. And our previous sign is plus again because this is plus, right? So our current number is 4. Now we go to the next one. Divide, right? Now we'll do our previous sign, which is plus. So we'll add 4 to the stack and move on. Now our current number is 2, and our previous sign is also division, right? Now we come to minus. So we update our previous sign to be minus, and we actually do division now, right? So what we do for division is we grab the most top of our stack, which is 4, and divide it with our current number, 2. So we would get the resulting value of 2 to the stack. Now we go to 1. So our current number is updated to be 1. And then we have 5, right? Now we have reached the end of our iteration. So we do our pref sign, which is minus. So what we do is just add a negative value to our 15, and that is how we solve the question. So notice how for multiplication and division, the way we solve through this is we grab top of our stack and operate with our current number, right? It's also key thing to note is that in this question, instead of doing stack operations once you have the current sign, you want to do the previous sign. So you would only do 3 plus 4 on when you reached division, and you would do division operations once you reach minus, right? This way it would work. And the time complexity of this question is O big to the n because we're iterating through the string once, and then O to the n for memory when the stack is the same value. When it's like 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, it would be n, right? However, there's actually a solution that we can do in big O of 1. I'll give the solution to this at the end of the video. I'll do the solution of O of n, and you can try to figure out how to do O of 1 after watching the video. To give you a hint, notice how we used stack to get the sum, right? But once we're here, we don't really need to look at 3, right? We only, at max, have to look at our previous value. So why don't we just keep a variable that has current sum, previous number, and current number, right? And you can figure out how to utilize these to solve the question. So let's go to the coding part now. So we're given a string s. So as you remember, we'll have a stack, and then we'll have priv sign. So we'll just have plus as a beginning to just make it a bit easier, because we'll do when there's 3 plus 4 times 2. Technically, we're doing the same thing as 0 plus 3 plus 4 times 2 plus 0, right? So we can have, we also add, so we're adding a plus sign at the end here because when we're iterating, we're doing operations from the previous sign. That means that at the end of the string, it wouldn't have done the last operation because it would be just in previous and we would never do it. So we add a plus sign at the end in order to trigger to do the last operation. Now we iterate through the string, each character in S. If the current character is digit, this is an inbuilt string function that checks if it's a digit, and if so, we add to the current number, so we'll have current num equals 0 as well. Current num will multiply it by 10, add the current character, integer version of the current character to get the current number because it's in decimals. Now if else, now also we have to check if it's sign, and I don't want to use string comparison for each individual one. So what I'll do is have a signs set with plus, minus, division, and multiplication, so that if current character is in signs, we can operate on it. So if now, since it's a sign, we look at the previous sign. So if prev sign equals plus, we just append it to the stack. If it's minus, we append the negative value of it. If it's multiplication, we get the most recent stack value. We modify it to be the multiplication of current number. And then if it's division, we can just use else here, but just so that you understand better, we also do a division on the previous value, but we also want to use int here because we have to round it up to closer to 0. That's what I will do. And then we'll update the pref sign to be the current one. And then we'll reset our num to 0 since we'll be measuring our num again. And that's it. Let me just check over. And the reason why I'm using the signs to the set is because if you look at the given examples, there are examples such as 3 plus 5, where there's like white spaces in between the strings, and we want to ignore those, right? So if it's a white space, it would just loop through and do nothing. Then we return the sum of the stack, and that should be it. Oh, I got a wrong question. I wonder what I did wrong here. Oh, here. It should be current number, not num. My bad. Then hopefully it passed. There we go. And we'll submit. And we have passed with flying colors of runtime of beats 97 and beats the memory. Now the memory is short because is not as efficient because like I said, there's a solution that's solvable in big O1. Now I'll post a screenshot right here for watching the video. Thank you.